Hey, this is Matt once again. What about the other videos? And paid request this time for Lucas. Thank you so much for that, man, and for those interesting requests in any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, what have you. Feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box, and we'll get right into it here. Lucas has been very gracious and uh, do a commentary on the first episode of Spectacular Spider-Man from back in the day. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. No, there's no footage because I don't trust YouTube. Now, I remember when I saw this show, like, I've only seen the show once, so it's kind of like watching for the first time, but I had gotten a request to review these, and it was refreshing. It was refreshing. It kind of made me realize that maybe cartoons are the only way to do Spider-Man justice, because the way he moves, how agile and free-flowing he is, it's very hard to capture that in live action without looking off. Also, because the show has more of a runtime, you'll be able to explore characters and develop them, and obviously feature more dynamic action because it's animation. Like this whole opening, falling down the building and swinging through. And it's sad that the show only lasted 2 years. From what I understand, it was because Disney bought Marvel. And with Sony, it's like, well, they didn't get the movies, but they got the TV rights. But then Sony owned some bits of this show, so they couldn't. Obviously, it didn't happen. It didn't work out, and then the show got canceled. And they had a lot of plans for 5 seasons, I think. I think they had about seasons they wanted to do. Now, this is Keith David as Tombstone. Now, I'm not a fan of the design of Tombstone. I much prefer his look in the comic book. But it's cool they got Keith David. It's sad they only have Keith David for the pilot. I don't know. I guess they didn't want to pay him, which I think is a shame. I don't know what happened. Like, Keith David's done. I mean, he did Spawn, but he was the star of that show, that cartoon. So I don't know. Either Keith David didn't want to do more, or they didn't want to pay him. I don't know what the deal is. Because I think Kevin Michael Richardson voiced Tombstone later on, but Keith David voice has been this pilot. But I thought, while the '90s Spider-Man cartoon is definitely more nostalgic, and I do enjoy that quite a bit, this, you could argue, is a better show in terms of build up the story of the characters, where it really a whole arcs carry through the full season of continuity. I would say the '90s Spider-Man. Also, it does help the '90s Spider-Man was limited, that he couldn't punch people because of standards and practices being dumbasses back then. That's a whole other thing. But it's hard for me to pick. '90s Spider-Man have a lot of nostalgia and love for. This one's pretty well done. I do like the MTV one, but that only lasted one season. The one with Neil Patrick Harris. It's too bad, you know. Like the '90s Spider-Man, the only way you get that on physical release is overseas. This you did a box set of, but I mean, after 2 years they ended. I thought Josh Keaton did a good job voicing Peter Parker, and he encapsulates all the great aspects of Peter Parker. He's a good guy trying to get through, doing his best, has a sense of humor to him, but is a kid we can relate to. And I, you know, I thought he did a good job. And Norman Osborn. Now, of course, this work would later create the formula to create the Green Goblin, become a big villain in this. And you pay rent for that nose. Was that Triple H's nose they stole? But Spectacular Spider-Man, looked up some info. Apparently, originally, I guess they wanted DVD movies. Oh, okay. Greg Wiseman had done the cartoon Gargoyles. They were Spider-Man fans for decades. Him and Victor Cook. See, as I liked aspects like that where, like the comic book, you would have moments where, like there, you see half of Spider-Man's mask, and those little details, additions were nice to see. To remind me back to the day when I would read Spider-Man's, I would see those little things incorporated into it. It's weird. That kind of weird, like guitar, dreamlike state. Yeah, you don't fail. Today, Junior. Exactly. I don't know how much bubblegum is in your brain, lady. And here's the problem: is that he can avoid all this stuff, but if he does it too much, he would be showing his secret identity. But if people think he's the geek that people could pick on, then secret identity is more safely kept. That catch-22. The original title for the series is Amazing Spider-Man, but in mid-2007 the title was changed to Spectacular Spider-Man. Huh. When designing the Vulture, the two employed the dark green shades from his original design, a color which they used thematically for most of their villains and other negative aspects of Peter's life, along with the touches of blood-like red. His wings were employed in the same style as his comic book counterpart. They are for steering. They don't keep him airborne. Vulture was voiced by Robert Englund, who would voice Freddy Krueger. I always forget Robert Englund voiced him. I mean, I've only seen this once, so I, always, but this is my second time watching it. Wood, you're fired. No. No. Nope, I don't remember shit. So that's where he got bit. And it's also nice in the first episode they didn't just redo the origin again. Like you get that little bit there, and you know enough. Oh, the title of the episode is right there on the chalkboard: "Survival of the Fittest." And they're not you. The 2-star peoples, they're not you. I just wanted to tell you. Let me hear a bit of this voice. I forgot Robert Englund voiced his character. Okay, he's not going to talk in that scene, so never mind. Harry, you need to laser those freckles. No, it doesn't. Who the hell? They kind of did that a little bit in the Spider-Man Sam Raimi movie as well. Like maybe Norman almost wanted. Yeah, I wanted to hear the voice, but Norman Osborn looked at Peter Parker as the son he wanted, sort of motif. I call you a buzzard. I mean, it's a different look from the Vulture in the comics. I mean, it's more of this red look to it. I don't mind the look to it, this black and red. Maybe later on is more of the green, but I think he does get a different suit. I mean, they try to have Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming, and I like Michael Keaton. I mean, is it really like Vulture in the comics? No. It's really not much of anything like in the comics. I think if it wasn't Michael Keaton, it'd be pretty shitty. But Michael Keaton really helps that work. And in particular, that scene with him and Peter Parker realizing who the other person is. That's definitely an effective scene in Homecoming, I'll give you that. I don't hate Homecoming, it's just I liked it less than I did when I first saw it. A lot less. There you go. Here's your garbage. Cop, do you have a gun? You ever heard of a gun? Pull it out. It's a nice movement of the camera to show the landscape of the city. A Spider-Man story that feels like classic Spider-Man. One reviewer says he commented favorably on the animation style and nods to classic comic stories and said it had a bit for every level of Spider-Man fan. Eddie Brock. See, this I thought was interesting to showcase that there is a friendship history between Peter Parker and Eddie Brock, and then this is a way for these characters to get back together. And then it takes a few episodes where we see them friendly with each other, we see them get along with each other, and then we see that shift of Kirk Connors has changed to the Lizard. He thinks Peter Parker's only out for his own good, and more things change. I'll come to you. Thanks for the help. Find some shoes. You just fucking said that, dickhead, with your Hitler mustache. Yeah, how the hell he still lost his damn shoes. Damn, get the hell out of Dodge. Who the hell these guys got their giant condoms on? Trick or treat, motherfucker. I do like it. I think the animation is pretty well done in these action sequences. They definitely show the agility of Spider-Man through all this. Why you sound like that for a little Southern hospitality? Mm-hmm. Slim Blade sounding prick. Yeah, don't land on it. Headbutt him in the nose. Punch him. Listen, unless they're superheroes, they should not be overtaking you in a fight like this. Unless there's super strength. I don't care how many martial arts they know. You got superhuman strength, you should be able to punch him in one go and knock him the hell out. Well, tough tea. Norman, just apologize. Lie about it. It was just between a rock and a hard place. That helicopter shooting at him, that vulture to catch. Play chicken with them. This whole stage was pretty cool. Spider-Man using his wits and his smarts to fuck up both these guys. You're lucky you didn't run out of rope shooting. But in this ongoing undercurrent, that's part of the appeal of Spider-Man is that things don't work out the best, but the few and far in between shine through, whether it be Aunt May or later on Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane, whoever you want to pick, and all that stuff. So, but he's always between a rock and a hard place, trying to do the right thing, but things don't work out the best, and that ongoing struggle was one of the, as well as the sense of humor and this at times seemingly blue collar appeal is what for a lot of people appealed to us about the Spider-Man character, and I thought for chunks of the show it definitely captured that, and that was nice to see. That was rather nice to see. It was a good first episode. They have a different type of villain in the Vulture. Nice that Robert Englund voiced him. Fun actions. I wish he could have done more punches and stuff because he can punch. He does eventually punch in certain episodes. But back to the day in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, he wasn't allowed to punch because you could do it in Batman animated series because it's more fantasy. No, it was yeah, it was more fantasy. But Spider-Man, because it takes place in New York, it's more reality, and somehow they made it. I didn't understand either. Just some weird thing where Batman the animated series, Batman could punch, but Spider-Man wasn't allowed. I don't ask me to explain it because I don't know. But anyway, I do remember this being a good show. It was a good first episode. I'm like, okay, this interesting. It has some nice potential. So again, it's too bad it only lasted 2 seasons. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.